Hi guys, welcome to Robyn's Recipe Remix. I want to just take a few minutes, so be patient with me. I've listened to a lot of people wonder about meal planning. I'm not an expert, but I've kind of figured it out how to do it that might be easy and convenient for you all. First of all, I want to start by saying, when I decide to make a meal plan, I sit down with my husband on a Saturday or Sunday and I decide what to plan for the whole week. Monday through Friday. I don't plan Saturday and Sunday. I leave that open for room. But I do like to plan my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner. I keep my breakfasts easy, I keep my lunch easy, and I plan a little more for dinners. Now, before you decide what you want to plan, figure out what meat you like to eat most in your family. And then I'm going to encourage you to buy bulk. But do not buy your veggies in bulk. That is an absolute no-no. One thing I'm also going to encourage you to do is sit down and decide what your S's and your E's want to look like in the course of a week. How many S's you want to have in a day, how many E's you want to have in a day. In a week, do you want more E meals? Do you want more S meals? Do you want your whole day to be E's or your whole day to be S's? You can do either or. I like to do an S meal, an E meal, so on and so forth, Monday through Friday. Same with my breakfasts and my lunches. I always rotate between S and E. So I know I'm getting that balance between fat and carbs if I rotate, which is also generally a good way to help make sure that you're losing weight easier when you're balancing your S and your E's. So now what I also would like to mention, just bear with me a second here. You know, a lot of people say, well, how many S's can you have? How many E's can you have? It doesn't matter. I mean, I think it depends what you're comfortable with. And also, you know, when you plan your meals, especially your dinners for a week, especially if you're a busy mother or wife that works, make sure that you cook what you know you can. Don't plan an elaborate dinner for during the week if you don't have that time, because then you let down yourself and say, oh man, I didn't do that. If you know that's not something you can attain during the week, if you're really busy and trying to get the kids going and schoolwork and everything else, make sure something you make is something you can make. Because you know what, there's nothing wrong with, you know, having casseroles or, you know, whatever, having leftovers. And let me tell you about leftovers. There is nothing wrong with having leftovers. I often do it. And as far as meal planning goes, when you plan your meal, I always make sure that I plan the same breakfast and lunch for my husband and I, and dinner for that matter. I make sure we all have the same thing, if possible, which for us it usually is. And do not be afraid to repeat your meals. You know, if there's something you like, have it again that week. Or the next week. I only plan 1 week at a time. I don't plan every 2 weeks. Just Monday through Friday the first week. But if you can make your life easy, everybody have the same thing. You know, and that eliminates so much stress and pressure on you to have to come up with however many dishes or lunch ideas that you have for all your kids and things like that. Do not be afraid to make the same thing for everybody. And again, let me reiterate, remember, if you can, use your leftovers. I sometimes use my leftovers for lunch. If I don't have a lot left, I use them for dinner. If I have more than I would for lunch. I mean, leftovers are a great thing. I hear people say leftovers are always better the next day. So, you know, don't be afraid to use your leftovers. Anything else I would like to say? You know, I'm going to touch on snacks in a minute. I think I need to let you all know about snacks and the importance of them and how they work. So stick with me and I will be back with you shortly. Hi guys, welcome back with Robyn. We're going to talk about snacks. A lot of people have questions about what kind of snacks they have, when can they have them, so on and so forth. One of the major questions I've read is how long before you can have a snack. Usually it's 3 hours from the time you begin to the time you finish. It's usually about 3 hours before you have a snack. What kind of snack can you have? That is going to depend on what you ate for breakfast. If you can't wait 3 hours, so for example, if you had an S breakfast, fried eggs, cheese, whatever, and an hour later, an hour and a half later, you're hungry, make sure whatever snack you have is an S. Not an E. You can have an E, but it's got to be 3 hours later. But you can have an S. It would be better to wait 3 hours if you can. But whether it's the same S as you had for breakfast, it's better to wait. But if you have an S breakfast, you can have an S snack. Same thing goes for E. If you had an E breakfast, you can have an E snack. Now, remember, preferably wait 3 hours if you can. If not, just make sure it's the same letter, S or E, depending what meal you had. Just make sure it's the same letter for a snack based on your meal if you can't wait. I want you to remember you do not have to count calories on this. You can eat whatever's on your S menu in moderation. Again, you can eat whatever's on the E list in moderation. This is about learning to enjoy eating, enjoy that this is a new way of life, changing your habits, and not having to think so hard. So I'm going to encourage you to come along with me, enjoy your meals, enjoy planning your meals. It's not as hard as you think. And I'm going to thank you for joining me at Robyn's Recipe Remix. And I'll come at you again with another video as soon as possible. And don't forget, subscribe down here at Robyn's Remix. Leave any comments you have. And thank you for joining me today.